So, to move on to Sally Potter in Orlando,
Yes.
this was the part that I discovered you in.
You know it's being re-released.
That's why I'm bringing it up. So, how do you feel about that? It's the beginning. I mean, I know you did the Derek Jarman films and a lot of other things, but this was sort of the. I mean, I remember at Sundance seeing the film, and it was a great discovery for a lot of people.
Well, I mean, short answer is I'm absolutely thrilled that it's being re-released, particularly in the same month as I Am Love, because they have a lot in common for me, these two projects. They're both projects that I developed from seed with the filmmakers, and they are both very personal films for me. They're both about things that I feel very kind of personally attached to. They're about transformation and development, and they're also not to put too fine a point on it, but they're both personal in the sense that they're about surviving and growing beyond a kind of milieu that's relatively close to a milieu that I grew up in myself. So they are genuinely kind of personal stories for me. And I also have seen Orlando very recently on the big screen, and I can tell you it really deserves a re-release. It's as fresh as, maybe even fresher than the day it was made, because it's so much fresher than most things out there now.
Well, tell me about it, but it's also probably, it was so outside the box back then. Perhaps we've grown up a little and can handle it better? What do you think?
Yes and no. I mean, in a way, when you see it, and I've had the opportunity recently to see a number of the films that I made back then. I mean, for example, Derek Jarman's War Requiem was recently having a small re-release in the UK. And you look at that film and you think, how on earth did the BBC give us the money to make a silent film based on Benjamin Bretton's oratorio, The War Requiem? And they did, and you cannot imagine anyone doing that now. So in a way maybe we have grown backwards, but yes, the freshness of Orlando, it does feel even fresher now, because I think that there were more films. I mean, I would like people to re-release a lot of work from that era, because I think that when you look at independent work from that era, it has a kind of, there was a possibility then, and Orlando was one of those films, and some of the Derek Jarman films also. I mean, the thing that I always tell younger people, students who weren't around then, is that these were not, if you, and we'll see what happens when Orlando is re-released next month, but if they were on primary release now, they would be in some cinematheque, or they would be,
a museum.
Film forum or in a museum.
Well, which brings up the issue of Sally Potter.
But the truth is that Orlando was a big, what they call crossover hit, and so were Derek Jarman's films. They were mainstream films then. I mean, they were. So in a way, I do think we might have gone a little backwards, and I think the market has gone backwards, and I think distribution has gone backwards.
No question.
That for distributors to see films like this, and what I'm hoping is that the 5 or 6 people that I meet on the streets of every city I go through who say that Orlando is their favourite film, if they go and buy tickets to the pictures and see Orlando on the big screen and make Sony Pictures Classics some money out of the re-release, then it might give distributors the mojo to re-release these films in the cinemas.
And also, by so doing, market the DVDs, and that's part of the deal.